How's it going today, guys? Got a bunch of news stories we're going to be talking about today. And today I am joined by another guest, the guest that you've seen on the show for the past few days, also last week. Here we go. TJ Rainman, how's it going?
Doing excellent. You guys are cursed with my presence yet again.
Cursed with your presence. Interesting way to introduce yourself.
No,
Uh,
good to hang
yeah,
out.
one person's curse, another person's blessing. I don't know. But yeah, we got a few stories we're going to talk about today, and go into some debate about some stuff maybe. But we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. And yeah, thank you for tuning in today. And let's see. Let's get into the first story. So I want to talk about Jasmine Crockett. I love all the clips that come out about her. She's just remarkably. Uh, it's a little early in the YouTube video, but it's fine. Remarkably retarded is how I wanted to put that. But it's okay. Rumble brings me all the money. Fuck YouTube, ultimately. But I'm just there on YouTube to also just have my presence known on YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyway. How do you feel about Jasmine Crockett? Because I know you've been on a few times and I've shared some videos about her. I would assume your view of her isn't entirely positive.
Right. I'm still kind of learning about her a bit. Like I'll be honest, I don't know too much. As we dive into it, I'm sure I'll be able to voice some opinions about it. But
Yeah,
she's
this is the same politician talking about like Elon Musk, and she had like clips of her talking about Elon Musk, and they asked for like a statement regarding what Elon Musk is doing with Doge, and she like said like "fuck off" or something, or "fuck you." It was like very profound and earth shattering statement.
look at her
Uh,
sticking to her guns.
yeah, but so we have this new video from her. So let's see. Crockett's Hot Wheels remark sparks outrage. Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has sparked controversy by referring to Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who has been in a wheelchair since 1984 due to a tragic accident, as Governor Hot Wheels. This comment was made during an event organized by the Human Rights Campaign. The statement has led to widespread condemnation for being insensitive towards disabilities, with calls for Crockett to be censured. Sorry, which doesn't that doesn't do anything. Critics across social media platforms have voiced their outrage, labeling the remark as classless and demanding accountability. So let's see. I don't know if this is actually the clip. I haven't seen the clip yet. I was busy this morning, guys, so I did very minimal research today. So we'll be looking at things together today.
Before we play the clip, my initial thoughts on her making that statement, like, I don't feel like it's the end of the world. I feel like it is incredibly disrespectful, and she should be, called out for it. Do I think that, like, I don't know, just shame her and make sure that people know that this is the quality of person that she is, but I don't necessarily know if it requires any, you know, overreaction to it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I don't. I think you're completely wrong, TJ. This is coming from the party that's all about minority groups and being sensitive towards people, right?
Well,
Uh,
so yeah, so I need to separate the narrative that needs to be pushed versus the way that I actually feel about it. In the same way that I was calling Harry Sisson a sex trafficker because of his lover boy method stuff with the Snapchat thing. I
yeah,
don't really care that he was snapping these girls, but we still need to push the narrative to shame him. In the same way, I don't really care about this comment. It's not the most degrading thing ever.
it's
But when
not the
it comes
worst.
to pushing the
It's not.
narrative, yeah, you make sure she is shamed to the high heavens, walking
Yeah,
down the streets with the bell. Shame.
it's not the worst comment you could ever make. But it definitely is insensitive, especially coming from the party that's supposed to like represent minority groups and like try to have safe spaces for people. I certainly don't think you should be making fun of people's disabilities like that.
Right.
Do I think the comment's funny? Yeah, I think it's a little funny. I love me some dark humor. I just don't think it's something a politician should be saying. But let's
Right.
actually see the clip.
You got to call out the hypocrisy when you see it. Is I think my
Yes,
stance on it.
absolutely. Let's see this clip.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Um, y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Okay. So seems like she just like ran out of things to say and then was like, "Let me just roast the governor real quick."
I agree. Like, it'd be one thing if it like cleverly like led into something, or like if the conversation like warranted some sort of nickname, but it's just like she lost her train of thought, so she's like, oh, I remember, I came up with this shitty nickname for the guy.
Yeah, Governor Hot Wheels. Like, that's an interesting one. I don't even think Trump would say something like that, honestly. Like, Trump says some pretty out there shit, but I don't think he would make a nickname off someone off of their disability. Usually he does it off their looks or how unintelligent they are.
Sure.
So I don't know. It seems like a random ass comment. And I just don't like politicians talking like that. Like, sure, sometimes it could be funny, sometimes it could be tasteful, but literally just seemed like she just ran out of things to say.
Do you think this is part of the left's like current campaign to be more edgy? You know, like there was the 22 different TikToks that came out where they're like shit that ain't true or whatever. So, oh my god, they said the word shit. Like they're almost trying, because Trump can be so crass and he gets a loud pop whenever he says that this is bullshit. Do you think that they're trying to be a bit more crass because that's what their uh, research is showing the people like?
I don't know. I think they've always been a little bit crass, but now I think they're just trying to get out there a little bit more. So Rumble is giving me the business today, guys. Just a little bit. I'm having. I'm able to see everything on the studio, but I cannot read your guys' live chats from the studio. But I do have the stream open on another window, reading your chats. So Mad Stork, Trump has never joked about a known disability. Right. Exactly. He doesn't, like, there was that one time where allegedly he made fun of a reporter who had, what was it, cerebral palsy or something like that. I forget what it was exactly.
Yeah,
But it was
fake, but yeah.
But he like it. That one got disproven because the way he made fun of that reporter is the same exact way he's made fun of all reporters. He didn't know that guy had a disability like that. And even if he did, he would have obviously apologized. I don't know if he ever apologized about that. He probably didn't. But he wasn't making fun of the guy's disability. Is the point?
That's the only thing I could see that's like somewhat comparable.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But he didn't like give it like he didn't give the guy a nickname related to his disability. You know.
Yeah.
But it's not that big a deal. It's just I think it's stupid for politicians to be doing stuff like that. Ultimately. But so we have a new hoax. Are you ready for a new hoax?
I love hoaxes.
You love hoaxes? Okay, so we have this from Colin Rugg. Hopefully he's not one of those people that are bought and paid for by Big Soda. If he is, someone tell me in the chat, please. I gotta unfollow all these Big Soda people. So Colin Rugg said new Allentown, Pennsylvania employee Latarsha Brown charged after placing a noose at her own desk to stage a hate crime. Jussie Smollett would be proud. About 2 months ago, Brown reported finding a noose at her desk in City Hall, or she reported it at her desk at City Hall. Police requested DNA samples of people who were working in the office at the time of the incident. According to Captain Steve Milkovitz, every employee at the office agreed to except for Brown. The Pennsylvania State Police Forensic DNA Division later released a report revealing that the DNA on the noose matched Brown's DNA.
Wow.
Brown worked for the city's Community and Economic Development Department. She faces misdemeanor charges, including making false reports and fabricating physical evidence. And this is what I've said before. I'm gonna say it again. What is it? The demand for racism in this country far exceeds the supply.
Yep.
To the point where people have to make it up themselves.
Well, I wonder if this is a conscious effort to drive more chaos in the streets. You know, if they want to drive the racial division even greater because that division benefits the Democrats, or it has for so long.
Yeah. What's called? How dare someone thumbs down my video? It just started. How dare you?
It was
rude.
Joey, I'm on here.
It had to be Joey. Yeah. Joey's like, I gotta remind this guy, like, yeah, you know, I made him. But yeah, I don't really know what else to add to the story. What punishment should someone face when they make up a hate crime like this? Like, she didn't accuse anyone in specific, but I don't know, like couple years on what is it, parole, at least.
Sure, that's a tough question. Like, I don't really know any like legal precedent that would give a legitimate sentence to it, but I
like
do think
fined or something, like fined like $10,000 or however much police resources were to investigate this. She owes it all.
sure,
That's what it that could be a good one.
sure, that's
So
fair.
she's got to pay for all the DNA testing and all the hours that those officers work to work her bullshit case.
But if it's also being done in an effort to cause division and chaos and conflict, like should there be, I don't know, anything that
That's the question, right? Should there be further punishment beyond that? I think I would be satisfied with just she has to pay all the money back that was used in taxpayer funds.
yep,
She owes it now.
it's a good start.
I think that would be a great discouragement for making false reports. Like, all right, you made a false report. All the hours that someone worked on this case and all the funds that were used or allocated towards this case, you now owe all of it back.
So what was the I mean, Jesse Smollett is the obvious like comparable circumstance. So what was the final punishment for him for that hoax? Was
Um,
it for a bit or something?
I don't know. I think he just got off with it. Was I'm looking it up right now. I don't think he was ever punished for that.
That's insane to me.
Or he might have been. Oh yeah, he was ordered to pay $120,000 and was sentenced to 150 days in jail.
So it seems like we have precedent set for it.
Let's see. Oh wait. So no, I guess he fulfilled a plea agreement. So we don't know what the plea agreement was, and he was released from prison early due to an appeal. So ultimately, like a slap on the wrist.
Right.
Well, let me read Mad Stork's chats. She should be made to go out in public and admit what she did. And any news outlet needs to print a story explaining the hoax and give it equal prominence to the original story. Jesse was arrested. I believe he served time, but it was later overturned. Yep, that's exactly what I just read.
So I don't even remember hearing about this noose on the desk story.
I don't know. Well, what did it say? It said
Like
it was
2
from
months ago?
2 months ago. I think I had heard it mentioned, but it was still being investigated, so like nothing really happened with it.
Right.
And then I guess it came back, and she made it all up. So, just don't make up false stories. Don't go looking for trouble. You won't get none. Fuck around
Yeah.
and find out.
It is the kind of story that you would expect the like mainstream media to run with. You know, they would just immediately lock into it, and you know, every hour there's a segment on it.
Yeah, you would think, but maybe they learned their lesson with Jussie Smollett, and they're like, let's wait till it gets confirmed before we're like, yeah, let's go all in on this.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad it was recognized that it was a hoax before there was any.
Yeah, what if someone got
Immediate
caught up in this?
reaction
Like,
or
what if she actually accused someone?
Right.
That would have been that would have made this story a little bit more serious. But let's talk about a little bit of a funny story. How do you feel about Europe? Do you think Europe's a very free country?
From this, it seems like it's been getting better. No,
See,
no, not really. It has.
It's been getting better.
Yeah,
Better
yeah.
at what? Taking away your rights. Like now, I
Exactly.
need to go to the bank to give them proof of a purchase I plan on making. Like, so this story here, a bank blocked 2,500 pounds withdrawal, freedom or security. So recent social media discussion have highlighted an incident where a UK father was allegedly denied the withdrawal of 2,500 pounds from his bank account to buy a motorbike for his son. So he was blocked from retrieving this money, and due to a bank policy requiring proof of intended expenditures. So you want to go pull out your own money in the UK, whatever bank this is, they should name the bank. But whatever bank this is, you can't just go pull out your money. You can't just show up to the bank like, "Hey, where's my money?" They want to be like, well, what are you buying? Oh, that's what you're buying? Oh, bring us a receipt of purchase for the thing you haven't bought yet.
Right.
That's crazy.
I
That's
feel
absolutely
like this
crazy.
happens in America as well. Like I feel like because banks don't have as much cash on hand as the people might think they do, you have to request it days in advance, and you have to that they try and They try and make you bring in the proof of what you're buying. And like, what are they going to do if they don't like the way that if they don't like what you're going to buy? Like, what
Yeah.
if you're going to, oh, I'm doing this because I'm putting together a political rally for this local politician? What if the bank is like, oh, well, that person doesn't align with our values? Are they able to say, well, that's not a justified reason for pulling out this amount of money?
Yeah, I don't like whatever the reasoning for this is. It's bullshit because the banks, if they have a bank, you have a bank account with a bank, they should have the money there. But people don't realize that. Like that's why banks are so afraid of making runs on the bank. And what that means is like when a bunch of people show up to the bank and they're like, "Hey, where's my money?" The bank doesn't have it all. They don't have it all in. They don't have all of the money of all the customers, especially the bigger branches like Wells Fargo or Chase. They're not going to have all of the money of every account in one bank, right? So and I get it, right? Like you want to be able to have money for other people. People taking out large amounts like that isn't safe for the bank or the person pulling it out. But that's their money. Like they can decide what they want to do with it.
Yeah, I could see them like having some sort of issue if you came in to try and withdraw $1 million
Yeah,
or something, because like, okay, maybe a bank,
$1 million in cash. That's a little out there.
but 2,500 pounds, like that's like chump change for some people out there. That's just wanting to have some hundreds in the wallet.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna read the chat here in just a second. Looks like Mad Stork was sending me something. Oh, he sent me a link. What is this? Open link.
Jamie, pull it up.
Jamie, pull it up. Let's see. Oh, that's a massive list. Okay. He sent me a list of fake hate crimes, a database of hate crime hoaxes in the USA.
Wow.
So he sent me a massive list. What is there something you want me to pull up on here specifically? This website is a list of fake hate crimes with follow-ups on the stories. This is why they stopped printing the stories. Oh, because people started tracking it. Like people started tracking where they are and stuff.
Does it have the dates of the hoax hate crimes? Like, did it start on a certain date and it's just escalated to such a heavy degree that they wouldn't, that they just couldn't put it on the news anymore because that's all they would talk about because there are so many?
Well, no, I think what he's saying is like they started tracking them and people were losing credibility for posting them.
Gotcha.
So we have this from Alex Jones. I love me some Alex Jones. So let's play this clip.
Right, I'm now in Santander Bank, right?
What are you doing, sir?
I'm filming you and I'm recording this conversation. I'm coming to the bank to withdraw £2,500. Are you going to let me? I've got £11,500 in my account. Are you going to let me? Are you going to let me have the money or not? Are you going to let me withdraw £2,500 from my account today? Yes or no? In the branch.
And what is the £2,500 for, Mr. Jackson?
Buying a motorbike for my son.
Right, okay, so have you got any evidence of the motorbike?
No, I haven't got any evidence of a motorbike at all. No, I haven't got it. So I don't know what one I'm getting yet.
Right,
yeah.
So when you found the bike for your son, if you can show us some evidence of it.
So you're not. So I need to show you evidence. So I need to show you evidence.
You cannot take video call of this.
Really?
You can't film me without my permission, sir. You
Really?
cannot film
Right.
me.
So you're not going to give me the money, no?
I'm going to hang up this immediately
Absolute
now.
joke,
Okay,
this
I'm going
place.
to call the security.
Absolute joke. You're an absolute joke, this place. Won't let me draw out my money. It's a fucking joke.
Orwell said, if you want a vision of the future, just...
That is fucking crazy, though, when you really think about it. Like, how am I supposed to get evidence of a purchase for something I haven't purchased yet?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah,
a bill of intent to sell. Like, I know that selling vehicles, like, you can have like a bill of sale or something like that, but that's normally exchanged as like evidence that the transaction took place.
Yeah, shit like this is exactly why I keep half of my money in cash. Like, I refuse to have all of my money in the bank because I don't want to run into a situation where I lose my card or the power goes out or whatever it is, right? I want to make sure I have at least half of my money in cash or other assets.
Yep.
You don't want to have all of your money in your bank because that guy even said he was screaming about it. He said he had $11,000 in the bank and he just wanted to pull out 25. That's what, like 20% of his total account, maybe
Sure.
like 18-17%. Like
Right.
that's not a whole lot when you look at the whole account, especially when you compare it to like people living paycheck to paycheck kind of thing.
Mhm.
So like I just don't understand what the issue is. What kind of policy and what is the criteria for you to be like, all right, that's too much money, like over 1,000, over $600?
Right. Where do you draw that line? But also, like, is the bank doing this because they don't have a whole lot of money, so they're trying to make sure that people aren't actually withdrawing cash, or is it like, are they trying to implement some sort of like, you know, drug prevention sort of methods where people can't just have cash because they think that they're going to go and use it for nefarious purposes instead of like legitimate transactions? Like, what's the bank's actual motive?
Yeah, I think it literally is just trying to limit people. I don't see any good reason for shit like this. Like maybe like a $10,000 cap. That's fair because like I don't know how much money banks keep, but I would imagine it's probably around like $500,000 at a time in the vault, right? So if they're pulling out 10K at a time, that's not going to be good for the bank. So I guess there would make sense for like some sort of cap, but 2,500 just seems low.
It does, and I wonder if it has to do with like the whole no limit fractional reserve banking kind of thing where they really.
Well, this is the UK. I don't know exactly how their system is, but I would imagine it's similar to ours, where they can just keep they just keep adding zeros onto the end of a computer, and the money doesn't actually exist.
Right.
But let me read this chat. I want to make sure I'm reading the chat because I can't see it in studio, so I keep forgetting. Because studio, like I said, studio's giving me the business. So let me try to catch up on your guys' chats. So we got Blanco in the chat as well. Mad Stork said, I got into an argument with some leftists. There are only about 25,000 group and party affiliated white supremacists in the USA. There are over 1 million people belonging to the Black Hebrew Israelites. Interesting statistic. I didn't know that. Blanco said, plus the majority of right-leaning people will agree that white supremacists are stupid. A very small portion of the left will acknowledge they're idiots. Yeah, well, they don't ever attack their own. They try not to anyway. And that's why we always bring it up when they do, because it's hilarious. Blanco said, who the F thumbs down this video? Got to be a lib. Yeah, I don't know. It's some fascist. He doesn't want me speaking.
It's a targeted campaign.
It's a targeted campaign. They're jealous that I got volunteer on the Timcast Discord, and they're gonna have to listen to me tonight. But guess what? You can't downvote the Discord stage. Boom. But more chats. I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. Also, Google stopped indexing the site for a while in 2016 because they called it racist. It's not racist to mark the truth. They have indexed it since. Alex Who, Mike Jones. I keep all my cash inside my. All right then, Blanco. Can't say that one on YouTube.
Let's just hope he doesn't have a very high net worth then.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hope he's not sticking rolls up there, and let's hope they're all $100 bills and not dollar bills.
Some weather we're having, huh? Like, man, this heat. I'm glad it's finally here. Quick, try and change the subject away from Blanco there.
Yeah, geez. And speaking of how hot it is, I got a fan at my feet and then 2 other fans around me. This summer is going to be toasty as fuck now that I have my PC. Yeah. My room is already a lot hotter, and I also have my bearded dragon directly next to me. So I have to deal with his heat lamps as well.
What's his name? I don't have anywhere
else to put him in my room. I didn't name him. I actually rescued him. His name is General. He is the General.
All right, that's fair though. That's a good name.
Yeah,
strong name.
I had one before him that passed away due to. Oh, I unplugged my mic. What did I do?
You unplugged your mic, and that was it for him.
There we go. Yeah, that was it for me. I was trying to adjust my mic and I bumped it. Stupid.
It's still not coming through right.
It's fidgety. Wait, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, but it still sounds like it doesn't sound like it's coming through the mic.
God damn it! Hang on. Let me. Oh wait! I think I know what happened. You probably switched. No, it's still on the Yeti. Does it sound better now?
Much better. God.
Okay.
Do I sound like you without the mic? Like, is that
maybe? I don't know. Do you ever look back at the streams?
God, that'd be bad.
Do you ever look back at the streams?
I haven't. Probably should.
No.
critique
Probably
myself.
should. Well, because you ask me how well you do sometimes, and it's like just go back and watch yourself, man.
All right, I mean that's
just
fair.
just watch yourself like it's not actually you that you're watching, and then criticize yourself.
That's fair. No, nobody likes hearing their own voice though. Like as soon as you hear your own voice.
What do you mean? I'm a narcissist. I love it.
All
No,
right, that's fair. You do have those.
no, it does. It feels super weird, especially after watching videos for so many years. You go into the editor and you're like editing things, and you're like, God, I sound like a fucking idiot. But you know, it is what it is. You get used to it, I guess.
For sure.
But anyway, enough about me. Let's go international for a moment. Let's talk about India and how they're talking about making better trade deals with us, guys. Look at this, the Trump effect. So let me see. Ain't nobody going in. Okay, Blanco, I can't read your chats if you're gonna say stuff like that. Okay. India considers zero tariffs on half of U.S. imports. The Trump administration is reportedly contemplating a two-step tariff regime. Is that regime or regimen? No, that's regime.
Yeah.
I feel like the correct word should be regimen, but all right. Okay, I can't speak today, and I'm talking shit about grammar. Of course. Starting on April 2nd, which might involve initial taxes followed by harsher measurements. In response, India has indicated its willingness to cut tariffs on over 55% of U.S. imports, valued at $23 billion, potentially down to zero. This strategic move aims to safeguard India's $66 billion in imports from the impact of the proposed U.S. tariffs, reflecting ongoing trade negotiations between the two countries. See, that's what a lot of people neglect to bring up when we're talking about these trade issues, because they talk about, they're like, oh, well, you know, that affects $23 billion in American goods. And it's like, yeah, but you know why these other countries are worried about us? If we start taking shots at our own goods like that, the reason it benefits us is because India has almost triple the amount in our market. So we start slapping tariffs on shit, it's going to affect them way more than it affects us. And that goes for all countries. America loves to buy shit. Where do you think Amazon sources all of it? Like, where do you think Amazon gets everything? It's not just the United States. The majority is not the United States. So people import things from all over into the United States. They make tons of money, and the U.S. gets screwed on these trade deals. But when we go and put tariffs out like this, the reason Trump's not worried about it in the long run, because he knows these other countries are going to get fucked by it.
And I think this is what the intended result of it has always been. Like I don't know too much about tariffs. Like I'm, not super well versed in it, but my understanding is that it is just sort of like a negotiation tool. And so it seemed to me like he was going to put the reciprocal tariffs, and then the other country is like, okay, well, we don't want that, so we're going to lower our tariffs. And we're like, okay, well, we'll lower our tariffs as well and meet you where you're at. And then it just brings the tariffs down all across the board. Wouldn't that be the end result? Like, wouldn't that be beneficial for the country, for all countries involved?
Well, it wouldn't be beneficial for all countries, right? Because like India, for example, who has tariffs on our goods, it obviously means that they'll be making less money. It's better for us. It's better for the United States. And all it does when they start reducing tariffs is they're trying to reduce how impactful our tariffs are going to be, because they don't want Trump to slap a 50% tariff on them like we did with some of Canada's stuff, because that'll affect they'll make way less money. And that's what I mean. Like, if they're making triple the amount from trade than we are, when we go to take a hit, the hit's going to be a lot smaller than them. So that's why I love the trade deals that are going on. I think a lot of people neglect that fact. Like, when you look at just trade with Canada and trade in the United States, trade with China, trade with everywhere, I think the only big one would be China, because we get a lot of stuff from China, and it shouldn't be that way. But China would probably be like the worst one to go to trade, like have a trade war with. But it still needs to happen, because it's a similar issue. They're making way more money, and they're profiting off us when why are we getting tariffed when we don't tariff them as much? Or like, what kind of trade deals are we actually making?
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see that India is caving. Like, I mean, I haven't even seen any talk about tariffs on India. Now all of a sudden they're caving before Trump even lifts his finger.
Right. I feel like this is going to be the first of many stories just like this. Like, this is the first domino to fall, and we're going to see this happen all over the place.
It certainly could be, yeah.
And that's
and then, So and then we'll get into the climate change. The climate is changing, guys, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. But apparently Tulsi Gabbard's not going to do anything either. So climate change dropped from annual threat assessment. Gabbard and King's Senate exchange. So I guess during a Senate hearing, Senator Angus King, that's quite the name, questioned Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard about the omission of climate change from the 2025 annual threat assessment. Gabbard explained that the report focuses on what the intelligence community deems the most critical threats to the U.S. national security. This absence marked a notable departure from the practice of the last 11 reports, sparking a discussion on the relevance of climate change as a security issue. Do you think climate change is a security issue, TJ?
So I don't necessarily think it's a security issue. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Like I'm not sure. I think that humanity is potentially increasing temperatures. Are we increasing it to a significant degree that could be worrisome? Not, I don't quite think so. But I think also the biggest thing has to do with, like, you know, America is like trying to do its part to be responsible and, renewable and all this kind of stuff, and then you look at all these other parts of the world and they're just polluting like it's nobody's business. So I don't see why we would be the ones to need, unless we were going to enforce it in other countries. I don't see why we would need
and
to.
it's like, how do you do that without going to war? Because like I've brought that up. I've brought that exact issue up. Like let's say the United States goes net zero carbon, right? We stop putting carbon into the air. What is that going to do to our industry? What is that going to do to innovation? Are we going to be able to make things as quickly as we used to? Are things going to be as efficient as they are? And then even if we do that, what impact is it going to have on the earth? When you look at what's going on in India, South Africa, China, like all these different countries that are polluting the oceans, polluting the skies, there's third world countries where the way they get rid of tires is setting them on fire. They have giant dumps where there's just mounds and mounds of tires, and they set them on fire, and all that carbon goes into the air. So it's like, oh, are we going to have an impact? Are we actually going to do anything in regards to climate change if the United States all of a sudden just stops? And then how does that benefit China when we do that? Because then China's already trying to catch up to us in terms of technology and output. That's why they're polluting so much, because they're just so focused heavily on manufacturing and building things.
Yeah.
So if we just stopped all of that, China's going to surpass us. Like it already looks like China's trying to, and they will if we just go net zero. So I don't think it's an issue. We talked a bit about this already, but the climate's going to change whether we do anything about it or not, guys. And carbon in the air is not necessarily a bad thing. So I don't see this as a real issue. And if it is an issue, then we're not going to be here to talk about it anyway. So whatever.
Yeah. The planet and probably most life on it will survive, even if the increase in carbon and global warming is enough to take out humanity or something. Like life finds a way.
We'll go live underground. We'll be nice and cool down there, guys. It's fine.
Let's just open the pyramids back up, and we'll go right back down to their underground city that they have.
Hell yeah! Only the elite can go. What was what was that one stone called that? It said that the perfect population number was like 500,000 or something.
What was
you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I forget the name of those stupid stones. I'm pretty sure they got vandalized or destroyed.
Yeah, I'm pissed that I can't remember it because I should.
Yeah.
It's like the 10 Commandments for repopulating Earth or something like that.
Something like that, or like the proper way to maintain life on the planet. Wait, what, Blanco? Americ X, you bigots. I'm assuming that's supposed to be like Latinx.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I'm not on board with that.
Yeah, I'm not affirming that identity.
Georgia Guidestones. Thank you, Matt Stork.
The Guidestones,
yes. Look at him. Right on top of it again.
Thanks, Jamie. But I guess there's a clip of this exchange, so let's see. Nick Sortor said Democrat Senator King just threw a fit about Tulsi Gabbard no longer considering climate change a national security threat. The climate scam is over. Tulsi responded, "We focused on the most direct threats to Americans: safety, well-being, and security." Yeah, what's going to be a bigger threat? The climate changing over the next 50 years, or someone putting a fucking plane through a skyscraper? Like, what's what's going to be the bigger threat? Hello, Lynch Mob. I see. I'm getting YouTube chats on Rumble Studio, guys. Rumble Studio just doesn't want the Rumble chats to pop up. Sorry, guys.
That's me.
Yeah, that's interesting. They prioritized YouTube today. Rumble, what are you doing, guys? Just sitting over there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Rumble's just sitting over there in the cuck chair today. Just
So when I was taking my dog for a walk a little earlier, I was listening to a video on Rumble, part of the lineup, trying to support it over there, and it froze like halfway through and wasn't working, and so I don't know, maybe Rumble is having some, maybe it's not just you, is what I'm saying. Maybe Rumble's having some issues.
Rumble Studio has issues almost every day. There's Joey talks about it too, because he still brings up the night that I was salty and I went off on his stream. I don't know if you were there for that.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I was saying things that got the video privated, and
I heard the story, maybe.
Huh?
I think I heard the story.
Oh, okay. But no, Rumble Studio, he still brings it up because Rumble Studio, there's always something that goes wrong with Rumble Studio. And don't get me wrong, we all want to support Rumble. We want Rumble to succeed. But it's hard to run a show when things don't work properly. So, it is what it is. Whenever anybody, oh, you said it twice, complains about climate change, I just tell them that it is bold of them to want to start a war with China. Yeah, no, seriously, China don't give a fuck about the climate. You want to make climate change a national security threat? Well, just guess who became your number one target? Yeah. China. So, and then goodbye all the nice cheap things. But let's play this clip from Tulsi Gabbard.
I want to move on. One note that surprised me, I've been on this committee now this is my 13th year. Every single one of these reports that we have had has mentioned global climate.
Side note, this guy looks exactly how I thought Mr. King would look.
Yep.
Change as a significant national security threat, except this one. Has something happened? Has global climate change been solved? Why is that not in this report? And who made the decision that it should not be in the report when it's been in every one of the 11 prior reports?
I can't speak to the decisions made previously, but this annual threat assessment has been focused very directly on the threats that we deem most critical to the United States and our national security. Obviously, we're aware of occurrences within the environment and how they may impact operations, but we're focused on the direct threats to Americans' safety, well-being, and security.
How about how they will impact mass migration, famine, dislocation, political violence, which is the finding, by the way, of the 2019 annual threat assessment under the first Trump administration? You don't consider that a significant national security threat?
For the intelligence community, being aware of the environment that we're operating in is a given. What I focused this annual threat assessment on, and the IC focused this threat assessment on, are the most extreme and critical direct threats to our national security.
Let me ask a direct question. Who decided climate change should be left out of this report after it's been in the prior 11? Where was that decision made?
Gave direction to our team at ODNI to focus on the most extreme and critical national security threats that we face.
Your direction include no comments on climate change?
Senator, as I said, I focused on the most extreme and direct national.
She is avoiding the question there a little bit.
Right. But there's also a level of disingenuousness in the man's voice. And I see that from, the leftist politicians all the time. It's they're trying to get you with a gotcha. You know what I mean? I don't know. Well, I'll circle back on that point eventually, but what are your initial thoughts on their conversation?
I don't know why it matters. What is the actual issue with climate change? What is the claim, right? The Earth is getting warmer. It's going to change the climate, and all these issues are going to happen. And it's all right, well, how about we prepare for those issues to happen? We're not going to climate change directly. That doesn't do anything. You're not what are you targeting when you have climate change as an intelligence threat? I don't understand that.
And I think
If the climate is an issue, then you focus on the things in the climate that are going to be issues. Like if the sea levels are rising, which they're not, you would list that as a threat. If there's going to be more frequent earthquakes or natural disasters, you would focus on that. If it's going to cause migration from other places because it's getting too warm for them, you're going to focus on that. You're not going to be like, oh, climate change. Like that. That's way too broad of a statement.
Right. And I think he creates like a false equivalency in there by saying that all of these issues are going to happen. You know, he mentions that 2019 study or whatever. And he says that all of these actions that are going to be national security threats are going to take place. And the root cause of it is because of climate change. And you have to believe that, like, you have to buy in that climate change will spark all of these things, which I feel like is a bit of a leap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, the exchange is retarded.
Yeah, I think he makes a good point that, you know, we might have increased immigration, we might have increased political strife or something like that. We might have, you know, all of the things that he mentioned that he believes climate change will cause from the like social perspective are valid points, but saying that they are going to be caused by climate change, I think, is a bit of bullshit.
Yeah.
So you focus on those issues instead of the climate change, I guess is my point.
Let's see. I don't know what that means, Blanco. We need to drug test these people. Yes, there should be drug tests for senators. I'm surprised there's not. Which I learned about like a year or two ago. That's insane to me how you can get elected to office and there's no drug test.
Right.
But I go get a job at a grocery store and I can get drug tested. Yeah. I'm not even running the fucking country. Mad Stork said he's looking and fishing for a soundbite, which, you know, most politicians are, so can't blame them too much.
Yep. And I think that her response should have been, it was under my direction that we removed it.
Yeah, she should have just been like, yeah, I don't think it's an issue. I told them not to.
And that, I feel like that's the way you combat them looking for that clip. You know, the whole I don't really care Margaret thing was that same sort of thing. Like, they were fishing for a clip, but then you get the clip from them by just alphaing the shit out of them. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then so let's go into some other stories. We got about 15 minutes left. I have more stories than I thought I would need, I think. But I want to talk about, we'll talk about Greenland just a little bit, because that was in the thumbnail. So I brought this up where I'm losing my place. There we go. I brought this up yesterday, but I guess there's more to the story. So Greenland, let's see. Greenland's prime minister criticized the upcoming visit of Second Lady Usha Vance and White House National Security Advisor Mike Waltz to the island, calling it very aggressive American pressure. He added, until recently, we could trust the Americans who were our allies and friends and with whom we enjoyed working closely, but that time is over. So that's the prime minister of Greenland making some pretty strong statements.
Sure. But is the prime minister like sort of captured by the whole, we'll say captured by the left? Like, is he speaking on behalf of the people, or is he speaking on behalf of like the deep state resistance kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I think it doesn't matter. I think we should just go take the country. I don't. No, do you know how many people live in Greenland?
Isn't it like 500,000 or something?
Dude, it's 56.
56. All right. Well, I add an
56,000. We could send one battalion and conquer the place.
I mean, so could almost anybody else, though. But I don't think that's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, France said that they'd fight us if there's this right here from Your Anon Central, whoever the fuck this is. France has warned Donald Trump against trying to invade Greenland by military force or economic coercion. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot said the European Union would not let other nations of the world attack its sovereign borders, whoever they are. So France is threatening us too. Like, fucking bring it, dude. We're going to go take Greenland, and then France is going to try to stop us. It'll be great. I'm all for it. Sounds hilarious.
France famous for, like, waving the white flag? So, like,
they are, but they also did help us in the American Revolution. We wouldn't have won it without them. So, you know, sometimes they can get shit done. But just ultimately, like, this seems like the next season of America. Like, this seems like a great plot twist. America starts taking territory from Greenland, and then France tries to butt in, and we just absolutely wreck their shit.
Well, I think that I think that if we, as long as we're not going in with military force and we're winning over the hearts and minds of the people, and they want to join us, whatever that actually means, then I don't think anybody can say a bad word about it. Like we have provided an opportunity. They wish to take the opportunity, so now this is mutually agreed upon. Set it in stone.
Dude, all we have to do is say that the 56,000 residents of Greenland, we will give them $1 million a year. that would be like nothing. That would be like nothing to us.
Right. I still don't think like buying them off is the right.
I just like that idea. The only reason I suggest buying them off is just because of how little. There's nobody there. There's 56,000 people. There's 350 million in the United States. Like we could literally send 2% of our population and overwhelm them. So it's just hilarious to me. But no, I mean, when you think about it, you literally could buy them out. The only problem with that is that you would cause like massive inflation if you gave everyone money over there.
Fair. No, I think providing them, economic opportunity instead of just giving them cash.
That would be better. Yeah.
Is
bribe them with physical assets. Don't bribe them with money.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, not much else to add on that story. It's just like the whole thing is stupid. Greenland should just let us go build bases over there and let us take them over. Like, why are we even arguing with such a small population? Like, literally, what are they going to do? But that's me being a little what is it, imperialistic? I think.
Yeah.
But we are the capital in the Hunger Games, and I say fuck it, take them.
It's a unique take. All right.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I was in Greenland, I would love Sweet Daddy US to just come and take me over, and give me all of those beautiful rights like the Second Amendment.
Yep. They would welcome us as liberators.
Yes, they'll welcome us as liberators eventually.
To not be under the control of that prime minister, I think they'd appreciate us.
Yeah, that could be true. Okay, so let's talk about. There's a few stories I want to get into. I might have to dig into Joey's time a little bit today. That's fine. Deal with it, Joey. 23andMe bankruptcy sparks data privacy concerns. 23andMe, the genetic testing company, has filed for bankruptcy, leading to significant concerns over the privacy and security of millions of users' genetic data. Former CEO that's like the same name as the former CEO of YouTube. I can't say that shit.
Sure.
Not even going to try. Has resigned, but remains on the board with intentions to bid for the company's assets. Amidst this, allegations have surfaced about 23andMe potentially sharing consumer data with pharmaceutical companies and even foreign entities like Russia Ministry of Defense. No evidence from web results confirms these data sharing activities, but a California Attorney General's alert emphasizes consumers' rights to delete their genetic information from the company's database. Yeah, I think they shouldn't be storing this information. Like, if they're going bankrupt, they need to delete all of it. They should not be storing this for other people to gain access to.
Right. I mean, unless there's some sort of like legal issues that like, a company must retain all data for 5 years in backup tapes after filing bankruptcy, just in case there's any sort of, legal investigation that needs to take place for whatever reason in the future. But like once all legal issues are handled and the data is allowed to be deleted or destroyed, it needs to be deleted or destroyed. I don't see why there's...
In the very least, they need to be prevented from what's called
accessing
it. Yeah, they should be blocked from giving that to anyone. They shouldn't be allowed to remove it from their company and give it to another company.
Right. Was it was it a conspiracy theory, or was there any like validity to the fact that the data has been already sent to like the Chinese and stuff like that?
I mean, I have seen stories about that. I don't know, because there are other companies that did like DNA testing stuff, and they would sell it off to places like China and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if 23andMe was doing that. Like, that's a good way to make some money on the side, right? Because how many people, like, you do this once and then you never do it again. So, like, how many people are really buying it? The real money would be in reselling that information.
Sure. Yeah. 'Cause data is everything, right? Most valuable commodity in this day and age.
Yeah. Well, and
And
then, so we have this video from James O'Keefe. That was the main reason of bringing up this story. We have a U.S. Treasury policy advisor on tape telling us 23andMe has been sharing consumer data with pharmaceutical companies, including the Ministry of Defense of Russia. So let's,
okay,
let's,
well, there we go for conspiracy theories.
well, yeah, here we go.
That's when 23andMe comes in. Kind of figure out what all you are. I should do that.
You shouldn't do that, though. Do not give your information to. They sell it to other people.
Do they sell it to Russia?
They sell it to everybody.
Meet Nathaniel Johnson, policy advisor for the United States Department of the Treasury.
There's a clause in their contract that basically says, like, we can give your information to our shareholders so that they can do stuff. And all of their shareholders are, like, pharmaceutical companies. But some of those pharmaceutical companies are companies based in other countries, and those pharmaceutical companies in other countries are like the property of like the Ministry of Defense of Russia, or like owned by China.
So this has been alleged for a while, but he has someone in the government outright saying, like, yeah, we know about it, don't give a shit.
Well, how does this person working for the Treasury know about the internal workings of this non-government company? Like,
well, because when you work with foreign entities, like when someone works from the United States with another massive company in another state or another country, I mean, I'm sure the government tracks all that.
So if you're going to sell data to,
so if you're selling data to foreign companies, the government's going to be like, hey, what you doing? And maybe they'll turn a blind eye, or maybe they'll be like, yeah, don't do that, because they need to know what you're sharing with foreign adversaries or foreign governments.
Interesting.
That would be my assumption.
Yeah, and I don't think that it doesn't seem to me like the guy in the video is going to have any like legal ramifications for the data being sold or whatever. It just seems like something he knows about, and so he's just talking about that he knows about it. You know, he's not the one authorizing or pushing the buttons, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's larger clips of it on James O'Keefe's website, but I'm not going to play his full video. Go check out James O'Keefe on X. O'Keefe Media Group is his news account. Go watch the video there. That's just a small clip. Always check out James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe is the man to support, guys.
I have a slight conspiracy theory about him, and it's that he's just so like he has this network, and like these people are actually whistleblowers, and they make it seem like they're going out on a blind date and that they got the undercover camera, but really these people are coming to him to whistleblow, and it's all just a staged interaction.
Oh, you think it's staged? Or some of them maybe?
Yep. That's my conspiracy theory. I'm not sure if I believe it.
I mean, honestly, that's not I've never thought about that, but that's not a bad idea, because like if there are people that are at risk for coming out and just being like, hey, this is going on, they could be like, oh shit, I got caught. Damn.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird, like you're on a date and then like someone's asking this heavy of question, like the line of questioning from some of these dates. Like, you definitely wonder, like, oh, how many dates have you been on to be this comfortable?
Yeah. How long after you ask her favorite color are they talking about, you know, governmental corruption?
Yeah. When did you get from favorite movie to favorite crime in the government? Like, no, that's definitely a good question. I'm here. I was out. Well, Joey, you're gonna hear an amazing joke here in a second, because you just typed that in the chat. But let's see. So let's talk about. Let's see. We got how much time we got left? Man, not enough time. Not enough time. I'm taking Joey's show over. This is my show now, Joey. Okay, we're gonna talk about this real quick. Just get this out of the way. So I guess a protester interrupted Kash Patel's stuff, saying that it was supposed to be about national security. Let's see. Do we have the? So that was a protester, was Code Pink Lunatic. Code Pink is funded by Communist China as well. That's from Senator Tom Cotton.
What happened? What you really blah blahed over Kash Patel's thing? What was Kash doing?
I was looking for the clip, so I think this might be the clip. Okay, yeah, I think this is the clip. Let's see.
Of the horrific offenses they've committed against the American people.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Witness will suspend.
Their greatest threat to global security is Israel, and the whole world knows it. Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel! Stop funding Israel!
Yo, is that Joey?
It sounds like him.
No, that sounds like Joey. I didn't. I know Joey's an anti-Zionist, but damn, I didn't think he'd go that far with it.
I took a field trip.
Joey, are you gonna tell us about that on your show later, dude? That was crazy. You must have been like hyped up there.
No, I like how the guy tries to like start a chant, but nobody else is involved.
Yeah, everyone's just like, all right, dude, get out. We get it. Okay, I guess I could read this up top. So during a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing with Kash Patel testifying, a protester from the activist group called Code Pink interrupted proceedings, vocally opposing the funding of Israel, claiming it to be a global security threat. Senator Tom Cotton responded by describing the protester as a Code Pink lunatic and suggested, without providing evidence, that Code Pink receives funding from Communist China. The incident reflects an ongoing tension regarding U.S. foreign policy towards Israel amidst discussions on national security. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Take all the money from Ukraine, take all the money from Israel, send it all to the southern border, fuck the cartels up. That's always been my position, and it's going to remain so.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, like, cool. Like, you got your clip, you got your moment of fame, buddy. You'll never be allowed in that building again.
Right. My logic for like funding military operations for any other country is just the U.S. creates iron domes. That's all we do. We create iron domes for everybody else, and we create our own, aggressive military technology if we need it.
We make iron domes for everyone, and then a steel dome for us.
Exactly.
They can have the iron, we'll take the steel.
But that's kind of the way I try to be like neutral on who's getting funding for whatever. It's like you can have an iron dome if we have to fund some other, if we have to.
But do we have to?
I mean, that's ideal, is that we just don't, and like good luck. But if we are funding, we fund them with just the Iron Dome for defense. That's about it.
Oh, breaking news.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
Breaking news. Hang on, let's see. Trump just signed an executive order.
Oh.
So let's see what's going on here.
Mad Stork, how many executive orders is that?
There we go. Executive order requiring proof of citizenship in order to register to vote.
Wow, that's fucking huge.
Okay, yeah, we have the clip right here. Let's see. I'm pulling it up.
Let's go.
Big news. Breaking. Tyler Today Live. Rapid Response 47. POTUS signed an executive order on election integrity that includes the following provisions. Requires documentary government-issued proof of U.S. citizenship on its voter registration forms. Conditions federal election-related funds on states complying with the integrity measures set forth by federal laws. Direct the updating of the voluntary voting system guidelines 2.0 and security standards for voting equipment, which includes requiring a voter verifiable, paper ballot record, and not using ballots in which the counted vote is contained within a barcode or QR code. So he's forcing people to count the papers, that not just scanning barcodes.
Wow.
Directs the Attorney General to enter into information sharing agreements with the state election officials to identify cases of election fraud or other election law violations. Takes appropriate action against states that count ballots received after Election Day in federal elections. Wow, that's big. So California is going to be most affected by that for sure. Yeah. I'm happy to see it. Revokes Biden Executive Order 14019, which turned federal agencies into Democratic voter turnout centers. Whatever that, I don't know what that means. I'd have to look into that part more. But that's big news. Big news, guys, and I support the majority of that.
Yeah. That's incredible. And just I'm excited to see the left go off the rails in like not physically in the streets, but just like all of their posts about how racist and bigoted this is or what have you, because like all of that is great, but they're still gonna be up in arms about it because they're losing power. They're losing
Well,
their ability to
this will affect them greatly because I mean, one of the main ways, especially in California, one of the main ways they get people to turn out to vote is they just let them vote illegally. There's so many people in my city alone. They have fake driver's licenses. They like no one cares. No one knows how to drive. They don't have insurance. Hit and runs happen often because they don't have insurance.
Is that going to be valid identification for voter registration?
Yeah, I would hope that they'd crack down on that sort of thing. Hopefully, they can't register with bullshit credentials. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. I got Joey. There's more I need to talk about, bro. Let's see. Okay. I can't stop, Joey. I'm sorry. I've got 5 minutes. I'll try to cram it in there. But okay. So talk about Billboard Chris. Billboard Chris was on Tim's show recently on Timcast. Billboard Chris was removed and fined in Brisbane, Australia over activism. Billboard Chris, a Canadian activist known for his stance against transgender treatment for children, was detained by police in Brisbane, Australia for holding a conversation and displaying signs. The police fined him $806 but did not press charges. The incident took place as part of his ongoing campaign against the what he perceives as infringement on children's rights. Despite being removed from the public area, Chris has indicated his willingness to challenge that actions legally. So I can't play the full 10-minute clip, but this happens often. He goes and peacefully protests to have conversations with people. People don't like what he's saying, and they make up bullshit to get him removed, or they just outright assault him.
Well, so doesn't Australia crack down very heavily on speech? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, but he goes to
degree.
He goes to all sorts of places, and the same thing happens. Like he is from Canada. Billboard Chris is from Canada, right. And he loves to go to a bunch of Canadian cities, and he has been physically assaulted multiple times for the things he's saying. And all he's saying is that children can't consent to taking away future sexual reproduction and stuff like that.
Right, and all I'm saying is that an $800 fine with no charges being pressed,
that's crazy.
Australia seems incredibly light-handed in comparison to what we would expect from Australia.
Well, it's likely because he's a public figure. It could be he's a public figure and they don't want a bunch of press on it.
Sure.
But it's the situation's not ultimately surprising. I mean, Billboard Chris, he never even cusses really. It's funny. I love watching his videos on X because it's like he's not even doing anything crazy. All he's saying is that children shouldn't be taking these drugs and getting hormones and stuff.
Right, and this is the right way to protest, like public disobedience or whatever it is. You get your fine. You've made your message, and if you want to, you go back, do it again, and get the consequence again. And that's part of the game. But.
Yeah.
I mean, go him for going out there and spreading his message in a country that we would expect to crack down on him so heavily.
Yeah, I don't like the way Chris interacts with people on X sometimes. Sometimes he could be a little crass. He does not like when people disagree with him. But overall, a lot of things he says are absolutely right. So I'm not surprised that this happened, and it'll likely happen in the future. And that's why the United States is the best country in the world, because we don't do this to this degree, at least. But anyway, I do have one more story to pull up, but I'll save it for tomorrow because I already did talk about it on Joey's show, so you can go check out his stream, which I'm about to send y'all fine people over there anyway. So any closing remarks, TJ?
I'll just try and snag up a couple of X followers. I'm out there, Tarek Raines, TERAKRAINES. Let's yell at leftists together. It's good hanging out.
Hell yeah. All right. Good to have you on, man. I'm going to drop him down below, and I'm going to mute him just because my stream plays on his screen when I do the outro. Sorry, TJ. So you are muted. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to be playing my outro here in just a moment. And while the outro is playing, stay in the live stream. Make sure to hit that like button on the way out. And I'm going to send you guys over to Outworld Live. So thank you guys for tuning in. And here comes the intro, or outro, not intro, outro. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning into the video today. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to support me and support what I do, make sure you hit that like button, thumbs up, whatever you're watching from. If you are watching me from YouTube, go over to Rumble. If you're watching me from Rumble, go over to YouTube. Up to you. Always appreciate the extra follow. You could also follow me on X at Tyler Today News or at Tyler Rittenhour, which is my full name. Tyler Today News, YouTube. Tyler Today News, Rumble, or if you want to go ahead and watch me over on Twitch for when I stream. I also stream at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time, but I do stream from all 3 platforms. I just stream on Twitch as well, just to, have my name out there on Twitch as well. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace out.